Well, Arsenal are in car boot sale mode, that's for damn sure. What up, people? You're through to Chig, Gooner Eagle Eye, coming to you again with another video. This time it is Eagle Eye. I'm really banging these Eagle Eyes out. It's transfer rumours. What do you guys like more than transfer rumours? Where I talk about all the transfer stories that I would have only looked at anyway, even if I wasn't doing this show. So let's get started. Now, one of the things that stories I was supposed to mention yesterday, but I ain't gonna lie, broke while I was doing the damn video, was Arsenal are looking to sell Granit Xhaka. Oh, praise Jesus. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, man. I must admit, for me, I'm very ecstatic. I'm not a huge fan of Granit Xhaka, as some of you guys know. 26 years old. I do see his talents. Let me say that for now. I do see his talents. I just flat out don't believe he's suited to the Premier League. That's all. I think he hits a nice 40-yarder when it goes right. I think he has a nice left foot when it goes right. I think people overestimate both his 40-yard supposed passes and his 40-yard goals. He don't score that many. And his 40-yarders sometimes are flat out inappropriate and sometimes they're not well executed. He often, at one point, at one stage of the season, and I think it ended this way as well, actually committed more mistakes that led to goals than anybody in the team. Forget anything else. Anything else. You are now fundamentally a key part of the reason as to why we're leaking goals. Forget anything else. There's no other stat you can put in front of you. I mean, I could tell you that, but at least there is an actual stat that proves it. And you know me, if I have to even think about, whenever I look at Xhaka, I'll be honest, and you guys know I've had some rants over this over the years, but I look at Xhaka and I just think, we picked this guy over Kante. This guy. That's all I think about whenever I see Granit Xhaka. For me, I would love him to go. I think we can get better. I think we can strengthen that central midfield. I'm going to hope beyond all hope that Barella deal still hasn't been completed yet. Just saying, if we can make a little last minute bid for that, he'd be the perfect replacement for him. Or a Decore. I think you need a tough tackler next to our Torreira. Maybe the idea is that they bring in this Parat guy. I'm still not overly convinced by him, I must admit. But I could see the sense of bringing in someone like that. But yeah, Granit Xhaka, Arsenal value him at the moment at 40 million. If Arsenal can get 40 million for Granit Xhaka, okay, I've got some faith in this board. Because I think that's going to be a stretch. But if we can get even close to what we paid for him, I think that's a result. Take it. I personally wouldn't play with Inter Milan too tough. Sorry, I should have said. Inter Milan are the ones that are interested in him. Conte, yep, the former Chelsea boss, is a big fan of Granit Xhaka. And actually, I was the very first one to say this, right? Whenever Xhaka plays against Italian teams, he always plays well. Why? Because they don't press the way they do in the Premier League or even in the Spanish league. So I've always felt like he would do well in an Italian league. So I'm not surprised, shock horror, that Italian clubs are all over him. And I think he'll do well for Inter. I still don't believe that we should have kept him as a result. So prepare yourself, boys and girls. If Xhaka suddenly starts killing it in Serie A, that doesn't mean that we made a horrible decision and let him go. It just means he's suited to that league. So I think he'll do well over there. So for me, I'm more than happy to let him go. And if we can get anything close to 40 million, happy days. So Granit Xhaka, not to mention he's also on 90,000 quid. Koscielny is another one. Koscielny currently is being offered around to clubs. The latest being he's being offered around to AC Milan and Inter Milan and a couple of others. I've always said this from day one. I think he'll end up back in France. I like the fact that we're looking to offload him. I think that's a good signal of intent to me. I think Koscielny had a good 2-month period, but other than that, I don't even really blame him. You know, you're 34 years old, your body's breaking down on you. We have to be ruthless, I'm sorry. And I just feel as though if there's an opportunity to get 2 defenders, we should. Because in my view, Socrates should be, I think has been great in terms of the sort of attitude and character we needed. But he's a backup at best. You know? Rob Holding, I think, is a wonderful prospect. But he's a wonderful prospect. I still think Mavropanos, and I know I'm alone in this, has something. I'd like to loan him and find out what exactly he has. You know? Unless you're telling me you're going to go with Chambers. I still like Chambers a lot as a player. I can't see that happening. I see him being, particularly now we've not made the Champions League, I see him being prime candidate to sell to somebody, like a West Ham or someone like that. So, yeah, I feel like if we can get 2 in, speaking of 2, I might as well bring them up now. Emre is looking at Upamecano or Upamecano, Dayot Upamecano, I think that's how you pronounce it. And Samuel Ntiti is going to be one of those 2, apparently. I think the idea from the Arsenal board is that they want to try and do what Liverpool did. And of course, what they did was they brought in someone who essentially was a Van Dijk type player, and he had an immediate impact on the team and improved everybody around him. And I think that they see that if they can spend a decent amount of money on that sort of player, then they might have a similar sort of influence on our team. I kind of like the thought process, and I think this deals would have been more likely had we made the Champions League. Why is Upamecano going to come to us? The guy is the next superstar. So we've got no chance. We've got no chance. We have no chance. Samuel Ntiti, I still don't think we have a chance of that either. I think he's pretty adamant that he wants to stay at Barcelona. He's in fact, so much so he's actually told Barcelona to ignore all offers because he's staying and he's ready to fight. So, I don't know, we'll see. But it's not looking great. But, yeah, supposedly the Arsenal coaches and scouts have been scouting Upamecano all summer. I say all summer, like summer started like 5 months ago. So scouted him for the last couple of weeks. So for me, of course, I would love one of those 2. 20 years old, great talent. Samuel Ntiti, 25 years old. Another one who's a fantastic defender in his day. Just that Gamini, man. We don't need another Gamini in the Arsenal squad. But yeah, for me, 2 great talents. Do I think we'll get either? No, I don't. I don't even know why we're wasting time. So yeah, I just thought I'd mention that here. There's still a lot of talk about us getting rid of Mkhitaryan. We're trying to find any type of option. And Mesut Ozil, that everybody's desperately looking for a solution to that situation. See if we can get him off the books. I'm still hoping that Mustafi is on this fire sale list. AC Milan are set to be interested in him, but there's not been a lot of movement there since. So I don't know if maybe Arsenal are valuing Mustafi too highly. You know, if it's me, just accept the first goddamn offer. Yeah, Emre Aubameyang. Here's another one. This story also kind of broke as I was doing yesterday's Eagle Eye. He obviously sent our very crazy and rabid Arsenal fan base into a bit of a frenzy yesterday because on his Instagram he removed his picture of him in an Arsenal top. He removed any references to Arsenal, which is, people always assume is a telltale sign. I must admit the last person that did that was Jack Wilshere, and a couple of months later he did leave. I must admit I'm not as panicky, I'll be honest. Yes, I want him to stay, and I think I had this conversation yesterday. But for me, if he is wanting to go, and he is wanting to go for the money, he's 29 years old. He might be thinking, you know what? Yeah, it's not a great league. But if I go out there for a couple of years and just earn disgusting money, I might be tempted. I don't believe in the £300,000 figures, though. He ain't that far off it, being at Arsenal, and I think he'll get a pay rise anyway. I think, for me, I'd quite like to see... I mean, I just think this is a huge negotiating tactic. I said this from day one. As soon as I saw that story yesterday, I'm like, the agent has played a blinder here. And it would not surprise me if Oba is just feeding into that. And it's just playing hardball negotiations. Supposedly it's kicked the arse of the board a little bit, and they've kicked into overdrive, and they're set to offer Uber in the region of about £250,000 a week, which is a £60,000 a week increase to what he's on now, which feels about right. Top scorer, 29 years old, still a good sum of money, and it doesn't completely break the bank. But it's kind of, as Claude said to me yesterday, if you ain't happy, then bounce. So, because I feel like we can make that sort of cash work for us. It's not a great look. You know, you're not sending the greatest of messages to any prospects that are joining the team that you're prepared to sell your highest goal scorer. But looking at it long term, we might be able to build an efficient team, albeit not a team of superstars. So yeah, that's kind of how I feel about the Aubameyang situation. Yep, finally, a quick costume change. David Ospina. Excuse me, I've got hiccups, so this is going to be funny. David Ospina is edging closer to the Arsenal exit door. It seems like, weirdly, he may be going to Napoli after all for the 3.5 million. I had my doubts over him joining Napoli, I must be honest, because they were seemingly doing anything they can to not join Napoli for the reported 3.5 million that was in the clause. Since then, however, Napoli, it seems as though Napoli just wanted to be able to make the decision. I guess perhaps they wanted to explore all their options, and they didn't want to have the David Ospina deal forced onto them. And it seems like the 30-year-old is set to join Napoli in a deal said to be worth 3.5 million. Arsenal are said to be just desperate to get David Ospina off the books. And yeah, it looks like they are very, very close, which is the quote. So it could be that by the end of the week, David Ospina is a Napoli player. This Arsenal fire sale is an interesting one. I ain't going to lie to you, but I'm enjoying it. We need to do what we need to do. You heard Vinay say it himself literally a few days before the final, and that was Arsenal just needs to be brave in this summer transfer window and letting certain players go. And whether it is Mesut Ozil, whether it's Mkhitaryan, whether it's even Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, I wouldn't necessarily sell him, but I don't have this fear and trepidation if he was to go. If he really wants to go to Japan, let him go. Let's just make sure we get top dollar for him. So anyway, you guys let me know what you think. Leave it in the comments below. If you like this video, crush, destroy, please drop kick that like button. I appreciate when you guys do that. And it also helps the show get noticed. I'll be back tomorrow. Loads of little things in the pipeline, so keep an eye on the channel. Hit that subscribe button if this is the first time you're watching. I promise you will not regret it. Alright, I'm out of here. Take care.